Hello, everyone. Good to have you again to another session or another masterclass with AF Digital. All right. This is session number 4. It's just gone 1 o'clock. Welcome, everyone, and let's start, Oliver. What do you think?
Yeah, just give them a couple of 2 minutes.
Yeah,
1 minute.
Just give it a minute.
Okay, a lot of people are coming in. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our webinar. So today we're going to be discussing about email build.
Yeah, and today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to try to get into more of the demo today just so we can go through email builds, and we've got some actually some code that Oliver's prepared. So let's jump straight into it. We'll get past the who we are, AF Digital. For those who haven't been joining past masterclasses, we are AF Digital. We're a trusted Salesforce professional services partner. We're a gold consulting partner. We do the clouds, or we specialize in sales, service, marketing cloud, and community cloud, and also Datorama. Datorama is a great tool. We're looking for BI tools to help you get more insights into the data. And we also partner with marketing partners and bring you that holistic view of how you can really use marketing of Salesforce to provide those great journeys and great customer experiences. Our value proposition is really around giving marketing tech advice and, by providing health checks, QBR, and just giving around advisory. And then we build and implement the Salesforce. And the last thing we do is we've got a Team X, which is our hybrid of will essentially your team, our team, to be able to then allow you to get things done and see more ROI. I have got a link on the bottom of this to the Apex Salesforce App Exchange, which you can see some more reviews some of our customers have given. Next slide. Again, we're a one-stop shop for organizers using Salesforce. And again, those are the clouds. But typically how we work with our customers, we do health checks, we then do the integrations, power on, which allows us to get you live and working in an MVP type environment, and then training, and then we've got the Team X. Anytime you have any questions or want anything to a host to help you with, just feel free to contact AF Digital. All right, I think the next slide is us introducing ourselves, Oliver. So my name's Paul Chang. I'm the marketing practice lead or director at AF Digital. I actually have been working on the platform for 10 years plus. I started in 2009 before it was called Marketing Cloud, when it was called Exact Target. So I've worked with a lot of customers and again, a lot of experience on how to really use the platform to really get fulfill the objectives that you need. I did work for Salesforce or Exact Target at the time. We got acquired by Salesforce, and then I worked for Salesforce and led the professional services team there, managing enterprise clients. Yeah, so that's me. So I'll be giving a lot of best practice today about how you can use email to build.
Right. Thanks, Paul. So next I am Oliver Victoriano, one of the marketing cloud consultant in AF Digital. So I am doing a lot of marketing cloud implementations. I'm a certified email specialist and a marketing cloud consultant. So later we're gonna be doing a lot of demos also on email build.
Sorry, I did notice I forgot to put my headset on, so hopefully the audio is much better now. Catherine,
yes,
Sylvia,
actually,
Irene. Yes. Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Can hear it clear now, Paul? Cool. Let's continue.
Good to hear. Oh, I mean, that was all about Marketing Cloud. I think it's better now that my audio is working for us to get into the actual webinar.
Yep. All right. So just to recap on what we covered last session, we talked about data segmentations. So we discussed about the different types of data extensions, how we do filters, how to create filters, of course, and then data relationships also, how to relate two data extensions so that they have a relationship to one another. Tracking extracts, of course, how to do a tracking extract and how to get them on your SFTP. Data views, showed you how the different types of data views. Send logs, of course, showed how to create send log data extension so that you can choose that on your tracking. Alias tagging, me and Paul showed you how to use alias tagging and how to insert it on your emails, the link name, and also how to how to use that alias tagging when you're creating measures. And also we also discussed about how the automation of filters so that you can have the data extensions fresh from every day or every hour. Right.
All right. That's what are we doing today?
So today we're going to be discussing about the email build. We're going to be showing you how to create emails and also how to, basic information about Ampscript, the basic syntax, declare how to use the Ampscript, how to declare variables, how to set the variables, and also how to use the simple personalization on your emails, of course, to have a better experience on your clients. Next is we're going to be talking about email build. We're going to be discussing the template and template-based emails. Basically, we're going to show you how to create emails template and then apply that email template and use it while you're creating an email. Also, we're going to be discussing about content blocks, the different types of content blocks, personalizations, how to use personalizations on your emails, of course. And then Paul will be showing you about the use of the UTM parameters. These UTM parameters can help you for your marketers to to track the clicks on your links and whatever. Also, we're going to do a test send. Going to show you how to do a test send based on subscriber level or based on the data extensions that you're going to be sending, so that you can have a view first on your email before sending out to your clients, and then how to do an email send. And then last is we're gonna be discussing about the tracking and reporting. So we're gonna be showing you about the things that can be shown on the tracking when you send on an email, the analytics that you can see how many clicks, how many you got an unsubscribe on your emails, and how many bounces from your emails that you have, and many more. And we're gonna do a demo later and a question and answer.
All right.
Right.
Well, I mean, question and answers. I know they keep saying you can keep asking throughout the webinar, so feel free to keep asking. So yeah, let's jump straight in.
Yeah. So first, we're going to be discussing about Ampscript. So there you go. What is Ampscript? Basically, Ampscript is a scripting language that you can embed within emails, text emails, landing pages, and SMS messages, and push notifications for mobile push. The system processes the script at the point where you can include it in the message to render content by a subscriber by subscriber basis. So Ampscript is a proprietary scripting language for Salesforce that you can use to make very highly personalized messages in Marketing Cloud. So it can serve as a powerful tool for marketers to create highly personalized messages. Like for example, here, it's example of an AMP script. I show you an image here, the message and the data extension. It's how a syntax and this is an example of a syntax of an AMP script. Next is
So I think that's just doing if the first name is unknown, then just say hi, buddy.
all right. Next is all right. Next is where can I use Ampscript? So basically, the Amp scripts can be used here on the following subject. You can in the following like the subject lines, pre-header, of course, emails. You can use your Amp scripts on emails, content blocks, content blocks. You can save it as a code snippet, and then you can use it anytime. SMS messages, uh, cloud pages, of course. Cloud pages is a very powerful for cloud pages, like landing pages, like microsite solutions. Creating microsite solutions is also great for if you use like if you can use it on a preference center or a profile center. That would be so much powerful. Next is you can also use it on sender profile. If you want to have a dynamic sender profile, like for example, based on the record on a CRM, the record owner in the CRM, you can have a dynamic from name or a from email. And last is an exclusion script, like the script to exclude people from an email send. So you can like see this in the little box, text box in the email send definition. You can put your Ampscript in there. So here, this is the basic syntax of an Ampscript. So if you're creating an Ampscript is enclosed with a %% equal sign, and then it's going to be ending on equal sign %%. You're going to use this type of syntax if you're just creating a one line of code, like for example, displaying a variable or a function of an Ampscript. You can this is the line of code that you're going to use. Next is if you have more than one line of code, if you have a multiple line of code, the syntax would be %% square bracket and then ending it with a square bracket %% symbol. So if you when you say if you have more than one line of code here, this is the syntax that you're going to use. And also for personalization, it's going to be looking like this: %% first name and then ending with a %%. If you want to print, like for example, the first name of a column of a data extension or an attribute. Next is declaring and assigning a variable. So here, I showed you here is like how to declare and assign a variable for an Ampscript. So since we're using a multiple line of code, we use more the square bracket. So %% square bracket and then variable for var, use var, and then declare the variable at first name, and then setting the variable for that one. The at first name is equals body, the example for that one. And then end it with a close bracket and then %%. Okay, that's the use
Yeah,
or the basic syntax on Ampscripts.
yeah. So some of the use cases that we've done with our customers and like what you've got there is being able to have specific content blocks that look up to other data extensions. So Ampscript is a really good tool, powerful language where I want to display a coupon code and it just needs to be random. So you could just use Ampscript to go to a data extension, pull the next coupon, add it to the email, and then write back to the data extension and say who actually was given that coupon. So then you can come back and do checks on who's actually redeemed any coupons. But it's a very powerful Ampscript. We don't want to get too much into Ampscript, but it's a great language if you want to start looking into it to help you become more sophisticated on your messages. Another one that's sophisticated is that we've done is, let's say you're a travel provider, you send an email to someone who it's cold and you say, in this location, it's 30 degrees, and then you'll show the weather of what it shows in there by getting it from the actual Bureau of Meteorology or things like that to be able to show on an email. So it's really powerful in that respect.
All right. Hello.
Yeah, let's go on, Oliver.
All right. All right. So here, a simple personalization. Now, let me explain how to do a simple personalization. You can personalize an email or an SMS message by using surrounding the name and an attribute between the %% equal sign, %% symbol. Uh, For example, here you can use it on the SMS messages, and of course, you can use it on the email. You can use it also on your email. So And also here on there are different types of default marketing cloud personalizations. Like for example, as displayed below, like you can see here, the date to day is X percent XT day, XT month, and XT year. It's going to be displaying the day to day. And like another example here is the email ADDR, which is a default marketing cloud personalization. So we kind of like use this a lot on our email templates. If you want to display like this email was sent to at the bottom of the page, and then display your client's email. A sample of that one.
Yeah, I think with the email editor, and I've got it on my next slide, but I'll just mention it now.
Yeah.
That one is a universal email
Yes,
editor,
it is a
so it,
universal.
across Marketing Cloud. So it doesn't need to, if you've got in your data extension email underscore address, if you use email ADDR, it actually doesn't require it to be the same, and it will be universal across Marketing Cloud and still populate with the email address of that person. Some of the best practice, just to note on what Oliver's discussed on Ampscript and personalization are different. So I know some people talk about Ampscript being the same as personalization, whereas personalization, what you saw in the previous slide, was percent, first name, percent. So the first name has to be exactly to what the way it looks in your DE. Whereas if you have first underscore name, then you have to have the percent like that. Whereas Ampscript allows you to be a little bit more flexible by having it somewhat different by setting it and the variables and things like that. In actually Marketing Cloud, when you go to, I'm not sure many people know this, but a simple AMP script that I've got there is proper case. So if you wanted to have someone, if your data potentially has people who typed in their name in capitals and other people in lowercase, and you're like, oh, I want to get it to proper case. Obviously, the best way is to clean your data at the source, but this allows you, or this simple AMP script allows you to have the name come through in proper case. So it's just that simple proper case there. And just so you know, when you are building an email, I'm not sure many of you have gone to the HTML tab, but in the HTML tab, when you're looking at just straight code, there is actually a actual drop down in there that gives you a list of simple AMP script functions that you can use. Another one that I've got there, which is quite popular that we use, is let's say you wanted a landing page to show the year, and you don't want to have to keep coming back and updating that landing page every single year with a copyright that year. So you could actually use the Ampscript functional format. Now, in this case, we're just showing the date, but you could just have it to show the year. That also works for emails. We're sending you this email or this email today, and this coupon is only valid for the next 5 days. So it doesn't matter when they receive it, the Ampscript will know when the date of the sent, and then put the 5 days, and then the customer will be able to figure out 5 days later. Spoke about email header. We did speak about send logs, and one of the things that you can add to a send log, you can actually add a lot of personalization fields that you are using within a send into the send log, so you can reference it later. One of the ones that you can use, which maybe most customers wouldn't know, is the view email URL. This one actually brings through the URL of the email of the online version. However, it doesn't, it's not there captured for long. It really depends on the data extension that's there and whether it or the data is there for it to refer back. But it does give you a quick snapshot. And then UTM parameters that we'll discuss later. But I just put it there is that you can now configure it on your own if you have one business unit. So that's something I'll talk about UTM parameters later, but something to note there. And then I've just got a link there to the personalization strings that you can actually use yourself. Just a question from Nathan. In the SMS, you use first name, but the email uses, what is the difference, please? So so that's why we're just showing simple personalization. So in the SMS, we're just showing that it's a simple percent first name, although you can still use Ampscript in an SMS. We're just trying to differentiate that in the SMS, they're not really related. It was just SMS is just showing if your data is correct and you had everyone's first name, use percent first name percent. But if your data wasn't looking good, in the email example we showed was just showing how you can set so the first name can come across better. and for things that if you don't have everyone's first name, you could actually set. So it says hi buddy and things like that. Hope that answers your question, Nathan. All right.
All right, next.
So this is where I was, I couldn't put all this on the previous slide. So this is what I'm talking about, UTM. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's about personalization fields as well. So this is a typical setup that we talk to many of our customers about. So you have typically UTM, and this is not always the way every customer works, but typically UTM source would be Salesforce Marketing Cloud or SFMC. So when you go to Google Analytics, you can say, I want to see where everything's coming from Marketing Cloud. Obviously, it's a medium is email, the UTM campaign, and what I've got there is got the email name. So that's a personalization field there, which allows you to just auto-populate for whatever you call the email that you're building. That way, you don't have to think about what the campaign should be, but it does mean when you are creating the email that you have to remember that the email name is going to be reflected on the campaign UTM tag. Then I've got there the UTM content with the link name. Again, that's a personalization field that allows you to bring the link URL, or in some cases, when you use alias tag as we've showed you, it will bring in the alias tag. And so I've just got the example of what the URL would look like. And the bottom one is an actual example of not using email name, but using a separate field for campaign, which then allows you to type in as you build each email. This suggestion is more around if you want to keep it very separate from the email name. So you might have a different naming convention to email name than you have to using for UTM parameters. So therefore you can have two different fields to complete both. So then the URL would be as per below. Yeah, so just some best practice around UTM parameters.
All right, thanks, Paul, for the UTM parameters. Next. All right, we're going to be discussing about the email. So in email, there are different ways on how to create an email. You can create it by template, which as you can see here on the GIF that's working, by HTML, by just pasting your HTML, a text-only email, and an existing email. So I'm going to show you how to create this one. If you can see here on my screen, if you're creating an email, for example, you're on your email studio, and then on your content builder tab, this is how you create an email. Just click on the plus create here button, and then email message. So when you're creating email, there's gonna be a drop down here. The same, you're gonna be creating the email from it. Here, I'm gonna be showing you how to create an email, the template. So an email template. So here, I showed you here that I'm showing here that how to create an email from scratch. It's like us, or your partners, we're creating emails from a template that we created. So I'm gonna set you an example on how to create that one. If you can see here, I have created a boiler template that you can also use. This template that I created is a most typical template that we use when we are creating emails. So it's a Bitbucket. It's uploaded in a Bitbucket.org. Then you can see it here. You can also copy this template and then use it on your template if you're creating an email. So yeah, a little discussion about this template. This template is kind of tweaked on my own version. So I've noticed that this template is can be used if you want to show your email rendering fine on Outlook, Gmail, and iOS phones. So yeah. So you can notice here.
Just the one that Olive was showing, it's just so why are we showing you a template creation? Because the template that we found in Marketing Cloud don't always render correctly across all email providers, especially around Outlook. So what we typically do is we create a new template and we add in the code that will as essentially make it work within the most popular providers.
Correct.
So this is what we're giving you here, and then Oliver's going to show you some of the things that he's done to update it. But also, it means by doing this, you could actually bring in the content blocks from Marketing Cloud that are already defaulted in the platform and use it with this template, and it will still render and work correctly. So yeah, I guess a good use case there is if you're working with agencies building your templates. If they don't have the media queries from Marketing Cloud in there, it won't allow you to, and it'll allow you to pull in the content blocks, but you might find issues with those default content blocks from Marketing Cloud to use in your template. So just good tip there. So yeah, and I think Oliver just
Yeah. Regarding on this template, remember that we're still using the media queries on Marketing Cloud. So in case you want to use this one, they're still gonna work on your email template. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how to use this template and how to create email template based on this HTML that I did. You can go back. Here you go. So if you're creating a template, you just have to click the create button and then email template and then paste HTML. If you try to paste an HTML, this is gonna be the one to shine. Here you go. So this is the HTML that I created. It was copied from the Bitbucket account. So here you can show it can show you the HTML, and then on the left side, on the right side, you can show the content blocks that you can use or you can use to drop your different types of layout that you want to show on your email. But no, take note that this is just a template. This is gonna be the template that we're gonna be using when we are creating the email. So we're gonna be saving this one. Oh, by the way, here on the template, you can also adjust the properties, the settings of each of the content block. So this is a new feature in Marketing Cloud that you can see here. Like for example, in this one, if you go to the properties tab, you can name your content block. As you can see here, view as web page. This name is view a web page, and then you can also limit how many content blocks or how many blocks that you can drag in your specific block. Like for example, this set is no limit, so it means say you can drop as many blocks as you want on this specific content block. Also, uh, you can also allow a specific type of block that you want to drag on your empty content block. Like for example, here I'm allowing all types of content block that I want to drag. So I mean to say if like I'm not allowing a free form on this one. If you try to drag a free form, it's not allowed to drag in here. Simple as that. So this is the one that you can use if there are some email developers that you have in your company that creating emails, and then you don't want to drag anything about content on this type of block. You can use those settings. Okay, then let's save. And then I'm going to show you now is how to create an email based on this template that we created. So click on the create and then email message. Since we're using the template, we're going to be using the template. And then we're going to look for the template that we created, the masterclass template. Select that masterclass template and then click select and put a name on your email. All right. So now here's the window where you can actually build your contents on your email. So always put on your subject email build. So here you can now drag and drop the different types of content block that you want to show on your email. Going back.
I hope, Claire, it's better to hear. I know there was a little bit of a dropout from Oliver before.
Oh, which part?
I think it was only a little bit.
Oops. Wait,
All right.
it's not
So
loading. Anyways, wait, I'm just gonna
which one are you
insert
looking?
it. We're now on the interactive content. I want to show you guys the new block that Marketing Cloud has. So I'm gonna show you here. Yeah, I'm just gonna insert it again. There you go. Yep. There you go. Right. So next, I want to show you the new block that the Marketing Cloud created, Salesforce Marketing Cloud created. It is called the email form block. So what is this type of block created? What is this about? So this email form block is basically you can create forms on your email. Yep, you heard me right. You can create forms on your email and not going to a landing page or different type of page that you want to show. So what is the positive side on this one? So the email form block can reduce the friction of customers by allowing them to complete forms without leaving your inbox. So it can boost also the engagement and collect more data as customers share preferences and feedback. And then you can also use this to drive personalization across marketing, sales, and service. So in the email form, there are different types of templates that you can see here. Like for example, the email form. If you can see here, you have sorry, where's it? The empty. If you want, you can select an empty. If you want to create forms from scratch, also there's also an option for you to a review. If you want to review template for gathering feedback, of course, a progressive profile for soliciting subscriber preferences, and then a case form, of course, to create support case, and then a lead form to capture or update data on your leads. So there you go. So this is the new content block that
Yeah,
Marketing Cloud
I
created.
think it's really a cool feature, and I think back previously, it was. I mean, you could develop these forms on emails, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to work. And I think still that's something to be conscious of, that whether it's going to work. Um, I think especially I think mainly now most people who are receiving emails are on web-based email providers, which means that these should work. I mean, but there are still a select few of people who are not in web-based email platforms, so it might not render the way you'd want it to. So just to be aware of that. But definitely a great tool. It also only writes back to data to Marketing Cloud platform. So if you are using Salesforce CRM, you'd need to try to get that data back into the CRM anyway again. So some yes, really good features that are coming out with
Yes,
Marketing Cloud.
and for you to be able to get that data back to the CRM, you can also build a journey for that one. Right.
Yeah, thanks Irene for letting us know the audio is better. Nathan, um, we will look up the question from Nathan is there any document that there's a list of indicates the email clients that support it. So there should be on the Salesforce site. I mean, I don't think they would list down all um, of the ISPs that will support it. Mainly the where it works and where we've seen that the best experience has been is on Apple iOS. So if you're using Apple iOS, it typically works good there. Um, that's the same with image carousel. If you've used the image carousel feature before when you're building content, it doesn't necessarily work anywhere other than Apple iOS. And I think Oliver, you even had with the test that you did with the review, where on Gmail
Yes.
it actually, yeah.
It
What what
actually
did what did
shows
you?
it actually shows the 5 stars instead of, like, for example, you're creating a rating and you want to show the 5 stars, of course. In the Gmail, it renders like 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star on a like per row, displaying like per row. But in
Yeah.
iOS, it's going to be displaying like a one line of star. It's gonna be like displaying 5 stars. That's a difference.
Yeah, so yeah, testing is your friend, definitely.
True.
So yeah, if we continue to go on email, I like to talk a lot about best practice. I've just put this slide on just for people to have a think about when they are building subject lines and what the subject line means for you and how you can get the best engagement. Because remembering that subject line is, or other than firstly your branding or the company name, is what you see first, and then the subject line. So some of the things that you can use is curiosity, or it's a curve method, and I'm not sure many people have heard it, but the curve method is curiosity, urgency, relevance, value, or emotion. So if you think about some of the subject lines that fit into each of those, then you would be able to use those and see which ones actually your customers respond more to. So, for example, curiosity, we're very curious by nature as human beings. And so if you were to put a question out in there as a subject line, I might want to open it. Like, for example, it's a question, I'm like, well, I might want to check out and open that. So just thinking about that, and the other ones really explain themselves. But yeah, just wanted to show you that slide. And then again, when thinking of email and when you want people to understand and really engage with your email, one of the first things you want to ask is, can your subscriber answer these 3 questions? And do they understand it in just one glance? So what I'm saying is that we're very much time poor as humans. When we get emails, we don't want to spend too much time. We want to just be able to just know what's going on. What are you asking me? Why should I care? And how do I take action? So what, why, and how. So the example on the next slide that I have will just be able to show you quickly on an email example. Just on the next slide. Yep. So this example here, it quickly can see here what, why, how. So the what is get a Nest thermostat. Why? It pays for itself. How? By now. So quickly I know that they want me to get a thermostat that's paying for itself and buy now. So I really don't have to read any of that copy in the middle unless I'm more interested. But you can see how quickly I engaged with this email at a glance to be able to then say, yes, I would like to buy a thermostat, and then I know how, so I can just click the buy now button. So always thinking about when you are designing your emails, those 3 things, and just, also about above the fold and below the fold, when someone opens email, what is above the fold, and that's compelling for them. Yeah, and then this next slide, I just thought I was just putting some who doesn't like stats. So this is from April 2020. So the email client share market share.com shows that Gmail is #1 for people opening emails, or using that app. So 38% there, then it followed by Apple iPhone, Apple Mail, Outlook, Yahoo. So looking at this is really making sure, and obviously there's a lot more, but making sure that your emails renders for these. I mean, this is just generic across all different companies and what people what reports out there. But I always recommend that you look at your own data, do a domain check or count on all your domains. Then, if your Gmail is a priority, then just ensuring that your emails render for Gmail. Yeah, and the next slide is just to really around, just to give you another percentage of what brands are typically doing and how long it takes for them to produce an email. We're seeing that 53% are actually taking over up to 2 weeks to produce an email. So yeah, just some good stats to understand that like you doesn't necessarily mean you're doing one email today and then it's out tomorrow, but you don't want to leave it any further than 2 weeks. Yeah, and the next one, Oliver.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
email
so
swipe file. Yeah. Oh, this
go
link,
ahead.
the Pinterest link that we have here, showing is an email swipe file from the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So if you want to have an inspiration on creating emails, I suggest you go here and then look a lot. There's a lot of inspirations here on this Pinterest page. If you're creating
Yeah.
if you're creating emails.
Just a question here from Harriet. Basically, what's the difference between Apple iPhone, Apple Mail, and Apple iPad? So because why are they separating those three? So you've got an iPhone, you've got an Apple Mail. iPhone is obviously the iPhone that we use. Apple Mail is a Mac, they use Mac Apple Mail, and Apple iPad is an iPad. The reason why it's separated is because within your email builds, you should be allowing your images to render or to be able to resize based on the screen size. So an iPhone is much smaller, so you might want to increase the text size on your emails when you open it on a phone or the iPhone to a Mail, which is desktop, Apple Mail, and then to Apple iPad also might want to increase it a little bit. So that's the differences there. All right, I think
All right,
that's tracking and reporting.
tracking and reporting. It's weird. Anyways,
Yeah.
the image is
So
not
we're just trying
showing.
to show,
Better show.
yeah, we're
Better
just
sh
showing
the,
it. I think you do it.
Anyways, here in the tracking and reporting, the tracking and reporting gives you analytics on the emails that you send on. Like this is the tracking and reporting details that you want to see if you had to send an email. You go to the tracking and then go to the my tracking. So here there's a different types of folders that we created. But most especially if you do a send, it's gonna be saved on the my tracking
Well, I think,
folder.
so Oliver,
So
you just
here,
cut out a bit there. What you were saying there is just on my tracking, you can actually create subfolders, and this is one of my best practice. So you can create subfolders there, so you can keep your email comms organized. So let's say you've got a monthly newsletter, then you've got a weekly sales alert, so you can actually create subfolders for it. And then when you're doing your send process or send flow, you select which folder you want the emails to go in.
right. So here an example. If you click on one link here, it's gonna be showing the tracking details of the email send that you did. So you can see the job ID, of course, the job ID of your email send, the name of your email, and then the subject line. Control C, the subject line, the date sent, time, and how many from the data extensions was been able to have the sent total sent. Also, even
Yeah, you
there's an
could
inbox
also,
activity. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, you could also export this report if you wanted to send it to someone to see the tracking for each campaign that you're doing. As I said, it just gives you the snapshot of that point, but if the top, you see export then and allows you to click and check what you want to export.
True.
Yeah, so this is really good, giving you high level. Just so you know, unique is I've clicked on it once, and total is I may have clicked on that same link multiple times. So if you ever see there, you could see there that, you know, 1,163 people opened it, and then maybe triple that have actually clicked on more than one link.
True. You can also see the inbox activity if you haven't unsubscribes, of course. How many unsubscribed did you get when you send on these emails? You can also see the delivery
There's a
rate. Go ahead.
There's a question here on PNC analytics for desktop versus mobile. So I believe Discover reporting gives you that. Nothing out of the box gives you that here. There are some extracts that you can run on the back end that can give you that information as well. So tracking extracts, you might need to get that enabled by support. Can you show us conversions? Conversions tab on there, actually, that's a very great question, Irene. So conversions tab needs a setup on your website. So essentially how conversions works, that you'll set up and add some code on each of your web pages in order to track the conversions. For example, I click on the email link, I go to a product page, and then I go to the buy or the cart and I buy. So that's how we'll track conversions. We don't actually have any of that set up in our system, so that would be blank for us. But that's how you would set up conversions. It's not a straight away it works out of the box. As I said, you have to set it up so that the website has the necessary code for it to be followed by the email. Again, from Irene, I'm interested to know how to ensure we track conversions. As I said, that having that piece of code helps you track conversion. If you got CRM, there are ways in the CRM that you can help you. But yeah, if you're wanting to discuss more of that, we can definitely look at that. Like a Facebook pixel or Google tag. Yeah, so as I said, you could add the necessary code to Google Tag Manager, but it needs to be added. There's some documents on the Salesforce support which will give you the information on how you can have conversion tracking working for you. Hi, where do we
Where
find the
find the
code? So I
code?
believe that so I believe you're asking for the code for Salesforce for the tracking, conversion tracking. Yep, so if you go to Salesforce support help.salesforce.com, which or you can type in help.marketingcloud.com, it will redirect you to there. It will give you just type in conversion tracking and then it will give you the code there. The only other thing that I'd like to talk about on this screen is click overview. If you click on that, so this one is essentially just click on click activity. Sorry, Oliver. This one is kind of like a heat map, but it's not. Like a typical heat map is that you would have like a red heat green there. This one is just so you can see where people are typically clicking. So it just shows you where all the clicks are. So 28% have gone to our clear click here online, which is 10.6% have gone to register now. And then the link view there, we click on that. That's where if you were to have aliases tagging, then this was where it will show up as well. So we just go back to the slides. Just 1 second. I just want to show. Oh, wait, just go to the next slide, Oliver. How do we? The question here from Divino. How to check if images did load in the actual email. So that question is can only check if it opened by an open on the reporting. So if you see a unique open, and that means they've opened the email. These days, something like Gmail, if you're a recognized sender for that person, then the images will download automatically. There are reporting in tracking extracts. If you want to look more into tracking extracts, there are reporting in there which do give you where you could have inferred opens. An inferred open is they haven't downloaded the images, but they've made a click. So there are tracking reports that can provide you with that. Again, Discover reporting, which is another paid tool for Marketing Cloud, can give you this information as well. But tracking extracts, I would say, is probably best to check there first. This slide here is just showing you what we talked about in the previous weeks about tracking alias, how you can have links that look like that, which you got fortune1financial.com/stock market value to ask an expert or read more. Okay, yeah, so Oliver, I mean, I think you wanted to show this end. I've got a question here. Just some best practice here. A good report to run if you want to check your emails, how their emails are doing by domain is email sends by all domain. So that report will show me my opens and clicks and delivered by each domain. So for example, if Hotmail was showing 0 opens, you might have an issue, so you want to reach out to support. It's a good report to run for to just check that everything's been sent. Then I've got their use campaigns. So in Marketing Cloud, campaigns essentially allow you to group a whole bunch of different or same type of emails. So for example, newsletters, then you can run a report called campaign reporting, which will then allow you to see all the opens and clicks just for that particular newsletter. It's very advisable to do that. It doesn't actually go backwards in any existing newsletters you've run. It'll just start from the day you start using campaign, and so really start to create that. And I've already talked about the create sub. Just one more question. For conversion tracking, we just have to add the code to the page, or do we need to add anything to the email? When you, and maybe Oliver, you can just go in and when you click and create a new link, when you add the code and you go create a new URL in the email, it will ask you in the bottom, there's a checkbox called conversion tracking. You'll have to make sure that's checked, because that will then send through the necessary code for it to then be picked up by that code that's on your website. So we just click on anyone that's links, just click on, yep, edit. And so their conversion tracking link.
By the way,
All right,
this is how you create the link name also, Paul. You want to mention that? This is how you insert the link name?
yes,
Like,
that's a tracking alias while we're here. So that's definitely where you'd be adding the tracking alias to. So then you can say that link URL, instead of it coming up on your reporting as link as afdigital.com,
Yep.
it would come up as body, mind, heart, and soul. But as the previous sessions that I discussed, that you should come up with a name you can mention on that as well.
All right. So on the demo continues in demo, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's send a sample on this one. Oh, this is an example of a Ampscript. There's basic Ampscript. If your data doesn't have a data on your data a value on your data extension, like for example here on the first name, says here that if, of course, you set first the first name and then get the attribute or the name of the field first name, and the setting if empty, it means say if empty of that variable first name, or the first name is equal to unknown. If the value of the first name is unknown in the data extension, then you're gonna set the first name to buddy. Simple like that. Then if you try to display that variable, if you want to use that variable and use it as a personalization or display the value, it's going to be displayed like this. The percent equal v open close parenthesis, and then inside the open close parenthesis is the variable, that first name. Another test case of an Ampscript is if you want, for example, you want to display a salutation. Let's get into that. Let's edit on this one, or let's just create a new email. Like for example, on this one, let's create an example of a salutation Ampscript. Let's drag on an HTML block. Again, if we're creating multiple lines of codes, we're going to use the square bracket. So first, I'm going to be declaring the variable that I'm going to be using, gender, and salutation. Then I'm going to set the gender. I'm going to be getting the gender in the data extension that I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to be creating the if statement. If the @gender is equal to male, then I'm going to be setting the salutation. It's equals to Mr. Else, if it's not male value, I'm going to be setting the salutation to Mrs. or Miss, sorry. And of course, don't forget to close your end diff. There you go. So this is simple, how to display the salutation. If you don't have the salutation field on your data extension, so if ever we want to use this one, let's drag in a free form here inside here. Of course, let's display the variable v at. Let's call that salutation. Salutation. And then display the first name and the last name. So this is an example of a simple personalization. Just type in the simple personalization here. So also,
So
you
just
can
conscious
also,
of time.
yeah, go ahead. Go.
I was just there's a couple of questions. Irene's asking why can't you just add first name, percent first name? You can, but what Oliver's shown you that if the gender is male, we want to say dear Mr. Paul Chang, and if it's gender is female, then we want to say dear Miss Irene Sutherland. So that's where we're using Ampscript just to try to populate the Mr. and Miss or Mrs. There's I know like there's other questions say, Oliver, do you need to enter
You
those
enter
variables
those variables.
like buddy one for every single email, or can you save them in a template? Yes, you can save it in a template. So typically if you're going to keep using that same type of Ampscript, then it's best to add it to the template, and then you can always just have the D first name as a
Reuse
content
that
block.
one. Yep.
Yeah.
You can save those content blocks and always reuse those content blocks on different types of emails that you're creating. Right.
And just know you in order to do a preview and a send on these emails that have Ampscript, you actually have to use it against a data extension or a list, typically data extension that you can then preview the content, how it's going to come through. Just a couple other questions. Does the email have capabilities of sending emails in Chinese and Korean characters? Yes, you can actually just put it in there. Where it comes into play is if you go to define properties, or actually we could just showing Oliver's just showing here now his Ampscript that he created is now dear Mr.
Is now
because
working.
gender is
Yep.
actually male and dear
Gender is
Mr.
a male.
yeah. So can you just go to define properties just for your question on the capabilities of sending Chinese Korean characters? Oliver, just click on define properties. You can add Korean characters. You have to obviously copy and paste it in. The target language is what you want to start looking at. So you've got a lot of languages that you can use there. So Unicode UTF-8 is the default. Why Unicode UTF-8 is the default is because it's the most recognized global language where it allows it to be translated. So if you've ever gone to Google Pages and it's another country and it says, would you like to translate this page? That is why that one is used. Another question on, I can't see the checkbox for conversion tracking in my template. If you're looking at a template, it's not typically in a template. You have to create an email from a template. So once you've got the email, then you should be able to see that. If you don't see it, then you probably should contact support if it's been removed for your account. I think we've answered Irene, we've answered Sylvia. She understands, thank you. And why there are 4 ways to create an email. Why should I use which type of email creation? I mean, my recommendation for creating emails is typically best to it's just to have one set template that you've built with email content in it that works very well, and then save that one as your kind of
Master template.
again, it's master template. Thank you, Oliver. And
Master
then
template.
duplicate, because you can always copy and duplicate those ones, but at least you've got one that you know works and renders. Because over time, as you're using content blocks, you might fiddle with it, you might add things and things might happen, and it might play with the rendering. So I would always suggest making a master template, master email content blocks that you have. And remember, you can actually have a master template and email content blocks, like 10 in one email, and then the person comes along and deletes the content blocks they don't want to use anymore. But we're right on 2 o'clock. Is there anything, Oliver, you want to end with?
Let's end it with the preview test send so that a test send. So by the way, if you want to do a test send and then you go to the test send tab, you can only have a maximum of 5 email addresses that you want to enter here. Beyond 5, it will not be allowed to do a test send. Is that?
Yeah, sorry, Oliver, just one question from Irene, and just this
Sure.
is probably in the previous slide you used the V bracket a first name instead of percent first name. Just if we can explain what would be the reason for us adding the extra Ampscript on the first name.
Yes. So basically, the idea is like, for example, in your data extension, the first name is blank or doesn't have any value. Then you want to still you want to insert a value on your first name. That's the time you're gonna use an Ampscript on it and then display the V or the variable like the body, for example, on that email. For example, in this email, if the value of the first name is empty, instead of displaying hello blank, it's going to be displaying hello buddy. Simple as that one.
Great. I think that's answered the question. Send
Right.
and send preview test send. When should I use which one? So a send. You should do a test preview or a preview send to be able to see that it's all rendering and it's working well. Remember, when you do a send preview, it is actually sending to that particular person but redirecting to yourself. So if you do have using the default unsubscribe link, then it will unsubscribe that person. So be careful when you're
Yes,
clicking on
true.
unsubscribe.
And then also,
But
if you accidentally unsubscribe that person, you can also just unsubscribe them again and make them active in the all subscribers list.
yes, you can.
Yes. Yes.
And then the last question here, I think we're going to have to end it, but what are the reporting capabilities of MC in email campaigns? So reporting is it's limited in what it can give you, but there are some good reports in there that you can run, as I explained before, the email by all domains. But yeah, have a look, go to report analytics and just run some. But the one that I mentioned is the one I typically run just to see how my emails are doing per domain. So I'm happy with that. It's going through. But I hope we've been able to cover. I mean, it's a lot to cover. I mean, Oliver and I can keep talking about email all day. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
other things that we love about email and the build within Marketing Cloud. But yeah, time's up. If there's anything you need, please feel free to contact us and we can see how we can help you guys. But the next class would be landing pages. Then we'll just deep dive into you know, how you
Yes.
can
Next
use
week we're gonna
content that
discuss.
you build into landing pages and some of the cool things you might be able to do
Yes.
there.
If you want to show your personalizations on your landing pages, that's the masterclass that you want to attend to.
Great.
All
Well,
right.
thanks everyone for your time, and we appreciate sticking with us, and have a great day.
Thank you guys. Thank you
Okay.
for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.